of measure as well as analyze phase with a video clip, with a small video clip. I hope all of you watch the IPL game. Right? Let us watch a small clip from it. You have watched video, and what did you observe? Actually, the ball has hit the pads of the batsman, and batsman could have been given out in the first time itself. But the umpire initially said not out, and then Dhoni went for a review, the decision review system, and then the DRS system analyzed the event using some data and found that it should be declared as LBW, leg before wicket. Now, what the umpire committed is nothing but the measurement error. Am I correct? What the umpire committed is the measurement error. And on the same instant, the error was rectified with the DRS system. The error was rectified with the system. And if that was not done, Chennai could not have won the match so easily. Am I correct? Am I correct or not? If that was not done, Chennai Super Kings could not have won the match so easily. Same way, if a measurement error happens in your project, you are collecting data, when your team is collecting data, that must be corrected at the same instant. If you don't do that, simply proceed. Simply you are making your project a challenging one, right? So instead of that, you must immediately do MSA. You know what is MSA? Something similar to the DRS, what you have seen. You do the MSA, measurement system analysis, and measurement system analysis depends on the type. If your data is continuous data, you need to do a study called gauge R&R study. Gauge R&R should be how much? Should be less than 10%. Gauge R&R means precision tolerance ratio. Precision error should be less than of the entire tolerance range. And precision error is nothing but summation of the repeatability error and reproducibility error. And repeatability is the error within the appraiser. Sometimes we call it equipment error, but you must understand that not only the equipment which is causing repeatability, it is your measurement system responsible for the repeatability error. But the simple definition is the error observed within an appraiser is called repeatability error. The error observed between or among the appraiser is called reproducibility error. Both put together is called precision error. Precision when compared against the tolerance, that is called precision tolerance ratio. We also call it as gauge R&R, and this gauge R&R has to be less than 10%. Now,
has he been put in front? An appeal, a big appeal.
Show you a small screenshot of the particular ball, right? And see here, all of you are able to see the white color line and the blue color line in the screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can see a white color line and the blue color line. Can one of you explain what is this white color line talks about and what is this blue color line talks about? Easy question. Go ahead. What is this white color line is talking about and what is this blue color line is talking about?
Sir, white color line refers before the impact. Blue color line after impact, sir. That is
very good. Beautiful observation by Ganapati. So the white line. White color line illustrates the actual path followed by the ball. Am I right? And the blue color line illustrates the path that the ball may follow if allowed beyond the pads of the batsman. Actually, this is the point where the ball has hit the pads of the batsman. Till that point, the information about the movement of the ball is available. They are captured in the camera. the place where the ball has pitched, how much it got pitched, the angle, everything is captured and is available. That means the information about the present is available. The information about the data about the present is available. The data about the present, same data can be used to predict the future. Looks logical? If you have data about the present, the same data can be used to predict the future. Actually, the blue color line is drawn simply by extending the white color line. Am I right? The blue color line is drawn simply by extending the white color line. So predicting the path of the ball is nothing but regression analysis. If you learn regression analysis, if you know how to draw the blue color line, you can also take decision similar to the decision review system. That is why we say green belts possess decision-making skills. It is no, you learn tools including regression analysis using which you can predict what is going to happen in the future. So I think this actually helps you to understand the importance of having the measure phase as well as the analyze phase. If I know my blue color line, and if I also know relationship between my x variable and the y variable, this line is nothing but a mathematical equation between your x and y. You can draw this line only if the relationship between x and y is clearly known. Tools like scatter diagram, tools like correlation, tools like regression will help you to understand the relationship between x variable and y variable. Thereby, you can develop a mathematical equation by yourself. It's not that difficult. That's called mathematically modeling the problem. If you have a very good mathematical model, the same model can be used to predict the future performance. All of you understand now the significance of having measure phase and analyze phase?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So these are the steps you have learned in measure phase. One thing is you have made a data collection plan. We call it finalizing characteristics. Data type, sampling technique, operational definition, so much now data must be collected, everything has been taught to you. And then you validate the measurement system. For validating the measurement system, you learn gauge R&R. And then baseline performance. For calculating the baseline performance, you learned yield, traditional yield, first pass yield, throughput yield. And you also learned the calculation of DPMO. Please note, all of them are connected to sigma level. You learned the sigma level also yesterday. 3 sigma level, 6 sigma level, 4 sigma level. Now you know everything, right? And sigma level has connectivity with everything, the DPMO, yield and other things. And not only that, there are 2 more metrics we talked about yesterday towards the end, CP, CPK. When your control limits are overlapping with the specification limit, CP is 1. CP is nothing but process capability index. When it is 1, it is understood that your sigma level is 3. So you multiply the CP value by 3 to get your sigma level. When CP becomes 2, your process becomes doubly complete. Your process becomes 6 sigma. And that's the time it will start producing a yield of 99.999%. For one tail test, it will be equaling to 3.4 DPMO. All right. So all that we learn. And then these are the tools. I think by now you should be a master. Operational definition, gauge R&R, histogram. Right after this session, I will be showing Minitab demo where you will learn how to plot histogram and other things. And control chart, there will be a session will be conducted in the control phase. And measurement plan has been taught to you. Measurement system analysis has been taught to you. Check sheet is nothing but a column. the data collection sheet, which will guide the project team members, collect the data without any measurement error and sampling error. Not every table cannot be called as a check sheet. A table which is capable of guiding the project team, collect the data without committing measurement error and sampling error is such a table is called what? Check sheet, right? So the important deliverable of the students today we are seeing a frequent disturbance. Right now it is Jivanandam. Students, please mute yourself. Whenever we want you to speak, that time you speak by unmuting, right? Other times, please stay muted. So,
Sir, shall I mute them all?
okay, you can do that otherwise. Yeah. So one is validated.
Hamsapriya madam,
Yes, sir.
you can give the host to Shivkumar and then mute all. Otherwise, Gopal Shivkumar also.
Yes,
will
yes.
mute it.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. I will.
And the validate measurement system, right? Validated measurement system is one of the main deliverable because now you are sure that your measurement system is really sound enough to capture the fact for you. And the ultimate goal of the measure phase is to obtain the baseline performance. I want to know the sigma level. I want to know my CP value. I want to know my PPI. I wanted to know my yield. Right? I want to know the rejection percentage, the true value. Then only the gap can be understood. Then only I can analyze understanding the gap in performance. Right? And this is the MSA study report. We are going to generate it today. And see here, the error is reflecting as 4.27. That means it's less than 10%. If it is less than 10%, it is good to go. If it is more than 10 or 10 to 30, conditionally okay. But more than 30, it is never okay. You have to throw away your data, improve your measurement system, or buy a new measurement system. So the gauge R&R output, if it is not favorable, already we have seen that there will be some graphs. These graphs will help us. We've seen about operational definition, right? So now I will go to the Minitab and to show you how to generate the report, right? Just opening the Minitab will take 1 or 2 minutes. Yes, I got open. Students, listen very carefully. This is going to be very, very helpful. This can make your project report in an excellent manner. And I hope all of you could see now my Minitab screen, right? And it contains 2 portions. This portion where you see my cursor, this is called worksheet. And this area is called session window. This area is called session window. And this area is called worksheet. In the worksheet, you can have your data, right? You can have data. You can give heading to your data, some X, Y, Z. And then under that, you can type your number. I mean, whatever data you have. You can copy paste from Excel or you can type it here and whatever is convenient to you, you can do it that way. Right? So right now I have typed about how many numbers? Some 8 numbers. Let me type a few more. And now I have 10 numbers. Right? And when I have data, I have something here. Stat, basic stat, display descriptive statistics. Right? Stat, basic stat, display descriptive statistics. And for which particular data you want to calculate the descriptive statistics. Column number 1, I click column number 1, I select it. Now I click statistics. You see, so many statistics are here, right? Whatever you are familiar with, you can choose Minitab will calculate and give it to you. It will work like you are no assistant. And then it can give you the report instantly. You don't have to go through the pain of doing all the calculations manually. Right? And so I first click none, and then whatever I know I will select. I think mean is known to you, mean average. Standard deviation is known to you. Square of the standard deviation is variance. Those of you who attended the evening class, you might know coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation is standard deviation divided by mean. Sum means total of the data. Minimum, maximum. Range means the difference between minimum and maximum. The number of data that is there in your column, that is thing. And I think this much is enough. All other things you can learn little later. Maybe mode also you know. Mode means the most frequently occurred data, mode. And then median. Median is the center data. So this much statistics you have learned so far. I give okay. Again okay. Now my results are out. Do you find the result here? All of you? I hope you got the result, right? So the total number of data, Minitab is telling me 10. I don't have to count. Even if there are 1 million data, Minitab will count. In no time, it will tell you there is 1 million data, right? And then mean is 10.2. Standard deviation is 4.61. Square of standard deviation, which is variance, is 21.29. Coefficient of variation, that is 45.24. And then you have some minimum. Median is the central value. Look at your data. If you arrange the data in ascending order or a descending order, you will find 11 appearing in the center. Approximately half of the data are above 11, half of the data are below 11, right? That is what you understand, right? From the median. Maximum of the reading is 18. The range is maximum minus minimum. Maximum is 18, minimum is 3. So the difference is called the range, that is 15. Mode is 12. Why mode is 12? Mode occurred several times. Mode occurred several times, and it occurred 2 times. No other number has occurred so many times. It is only 12 which has occurred 2 times. So 12 is considered mode. All of you understand how these statistics are calculated? Okay. So let us also go to one more. So I'll repeat it once again for you. Go to stat, basic stat, display descriptive statistics. Select the data for which you want to calculate the statistics. My data is in column number 1. I selected. I go to statistics, whichever required for me. If I know the meaning of the terms, if I also know how to use them in project, I will select them. And then I'll give OK. Again, I will give OK. Some 4-5 click of the buttons can get you beautiful results. Is it useful? Maybe you can type in the chat box if you are not able to unmute yourself. Is it useful? All of you are able to follow?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Ritam and Daniel said yes. Hope it is true with others also, right? See, you have to do a little bit of hard work to learn to behave smartly later on, right? Otherwise, what happens when you are actually performing, everything will be very, very hard for you. So learn also little things so that you can be very, very smart when you are actually performing, in a project. Good. And now one more clue I will help you understand. Go to stat, go to basic stat. You have something called graphical summary. Click that. Select the data. Give OK. What is this diagram called? This diagram is called a histogram. What is this diagram called? This diagram is called histogram. It will look like a bar chart, but the difference of a histogram from the bar chart is the x-axis will be a continuous data. If the x-axis is continuous data, it is called a histogram. See, it varies from 4 to 18. In discrete data or in attribute data, you will have certain names here, January, February, March, something like that. Then it is called bar chart. Now it is called histogram. Now look at the histogram and tell me, is it looking like a bell shape for your normal eye? Understanding the normality through normal eye is little difficult, right? But Minitab has, is giving you a clue how the distribution is like by drawing, an approximate distribution, red color. It is giving you a clue that your data is following normal distribution. The data is following normal distribution, right? So why it is not visible to our normal eye? It is because we have very few data. You increase the number of data, you will see your histogram forming the. So understanding the nature of the distribution is important for analysis, because if the nature of distribution is understood, you can predict very well about the population, right? Because the properties of the population are mainly depends on two parameters. One is average, another one is standard deviation. One is average, another one is standard deviation. If average and standard deviation is known, control limits can be located. Warning limits can be located. 1 sigma limit can be located. If you know 1 sigma limit and the average, you can comment about 68% of the population. You can comment about 68% of the events that are going to happen in the future. If you know average as well as the warning limits. Warning limits are nothing but average plus or minus 2 sigma. You can comment about 95% of the events that are going to happen in the future. If you know control limit, you can comment about 99.73% of the events that are going to happen in the future. So your risk is getting minimized as you go wider, isn't it? You go up to control limit. So that's how the normal distribution is helping you. Do you all understand how to create a histogram? Yes. Another worksheet, open a worksheet. I went to file, I click to open worksheet, and then there is sample data folder. I click that, and then I select a data about camshaft. Camshaft is a component that goes into passenger car engines. So the length of the camshaft is available here. Do you see the data? So much data, near about 100 data I have. For all the 100 data, I want to calculate mean, standard deviation, range, everything I want to know. You don't have to really struggle. Go to stat, go to basic stat, select display descriptive statistics. And now remove the old one. Now I want to calculate this for length. Select the length, statistics, whatever you want. These are all known to us. The unknown things are also there. You have to open your mouth so that you can learn many things, right? Since you are keeping so, you are keeping so quiet, and we are not able to talk about many things, right? So be vibrant, and so that you can know everything. Statistics all about this. They already mastered half of it. Just a few, little more steps can make you, really expert. So right now I give okay. Again, I give okay. Do you see the results generated? Whether it is 10 data or 100 data or 1 million data, you produce results within fraction of a second. Only few clicks matters. Your project reports can be generated beautifully. Now I want to understand whether the length data follow normality or not. What should I do? Go to stat, go to basic stat, go to graphical summary. And now graphical summary, I need it for length data, column number 1. I made a mistake. I'll do it. Don't worry. So length data, I must click the select button, and then only I should give. Do you now see the histogram? Now I want your opinion. Looking at it with your normal eye. Is it looking like a normal distribution? Yes or no? What is your opinion? You see the bars keeps on increasing, isn't it? If it keeps on increasing, actually it has to go up and then come down. Then only it is called normal, but it is not normal. How do I know? Minitab confirms that with another tool here. This tool is really an important tool. It's called the p-value. How much is the p-value you are seeing here? Less than 0.005. When p-value is very low, you have to reject your belief. Generally, we believe data follow normal distribution. But right now, I have to reject my belief. Why should I reject my belief? P-value is very low. When p-value approaches 0, you must reject all your belief. This is the beauty of statistics. So I reject my belief that my data is normal. That means my data is not normal. I have to make it normal. I have to make it normal. Then only I can further analyze using normal distribution. Otherwise, I have to figure out what kind of distribution it is and then trigger the investigation in that direction. All right. All of you understood two things here. One is how to do descriptive statistics. Another thing is you understood how to develop a histogram. The diagram what you are seeing is nothing but histogram. All right. Okay, let me check the histogram for supplier 1 also. Stat, basic stat, basic stat, graphical summary. Now for supplier 1. Now is it looking like normal? Somewhat. But anyway, right, you will be dealing with p-value and then you will understand very clearly. All right, so this we have understood. Now, let me show you how to do the gauge R&R study. So I have a file here in the same sample folder, gauge AI age. Lot of similar project simulations are available in this. You can master it. See here, there is some data collected using your measurement system. Measurement system, the parts which are used in the measurement system. See how many parts are used? There are 10 parts. Do you see 10 parts here? 8, 9, 10. There are 10 parts. The order of the part should be randomized. Like how I randomized the songs for you yesterday. You have to randomize. Then operator detail. How many operators are there? Operator A, operator B, operator C. That means how many operators? 3 operators. And the measurement data are recorded here. Right? So 10 parts, 3 operators. Each part is measured 3 times. Totally how many readings I can expect? 10 into 3 into 3. Totally how much? 90 readings. That 90 readings you are seeing here. Once you collect data like this, you need data in 3 columns if you want to do a gauge R&R study in WinCap. Because doing it manually is tedious. You have to have a lot of patience to do it. Otherwise, the shortcut is have the data in 3 columns. Product information in 1 column, operator information in another column, the observed value or the measured value in the 3rd column. Now, go to stat, go to quality tools. Do you see gauge study? Stat, quality tools, gauge study, right? And then come here, 1 second. Go to stat, quality tools, gauge study. There is something called gauge R&R study crossed. Gauge R&R study crossed. Click that. Now Minitab is asking you, where is the part number? Where is the part number? Part number is available in column number 1. Select it. Where is the operator information? That is there in column number 2. Select it. Where is the actually measured data? That is in column number 3. Select it. Now there are 2 methods available. One is ANOVA method. One is X bar R method. X bar R method is easier and you can use anything you want. X bar R is easier. Let us use it. And now you can give OK. Your Minitab has generated the gauge R&R report. Now tell me, let us go to the session window and tell me there are two tables here. See here, gauge R&R method, X bar R method. First thing is called contribution. This is variance component. I don't want variance component because we discussed everything with respect to standard deviation. So come here. Here it is, you see 6 times standard deviation. Do you remember yesterday I taught you? 6 times standard deviation will get you the error. And then percentage of error. It is called as percentage SV. Now tell me, what is the total gauge R&R from the table? Can you read out, one of you? How much it is? Some indication required. How much it is? 26.68%, right? 26.68%. It is in the range of 10 to 30%. That means conditionally acceptable. The measurement system needs improvement, but conditionally acceptable. Conditionally acceptable means you should know where is your specification limit. You should know where is your control limit. If your control limits are far inside the specification limit, then accept it. If you don't know where is your control limit, where is your specification limit, you are not very clear about the problem, then aim for 10%. Hope all of you understand, right? And then there is something called number of distinct category. The number of distinct category should be minimum 5. It should be how much? Should be minimum 5. If it is not 5 or if it is less than 5, you must go for an equipment with a better resolution. If you improve the resolution, NDC will improve. That's all about gauge R&R. And then these graphs you see here. Yes, once again. Gauge R&R graph. The 6 graphs are automatically plotted by Minitab for your convenience. If your error is too much, where is the error? You can figure out by going through the graph in detail. This is bar chart. This is R chart. This is X bar chart. This is measurement by parts. This is measurement by operator, also called as box plot. This is called interaction plot. This is how you need to do gauge R&R study using Minitab. So I stop here and I want the students to speak